Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get a dog right now. Everybody worried about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a hold up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Told them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Stand on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time, don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
Okay, okie dokie then. Who's ready for some more Vol-Star podcast action? You absolutely bet I am. All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to another episode of the Vol-Star podcast. We're at episode 92. And we're very, very close to hitting that episode 100. We've already got our special guest in the back room, which I will bring on here very, very shortly. First of all, how's my co-host, Mr. Lucas Sharp, doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm mostly just sitting back today. Didn't really do anything today.
Yeah, you better not be sitting back here on tonight's show. For those of you wondering where Julio is at, Julio has to take care of something. He will be on here tonight, though, in around 10 minutes per se. That's depending on what our phone call said, because he said he'd be about 15 minutes late to the show. So we'll move on without him. Hopefully he'll join us. And, yeah, because we got a lot to talk about. The Lady Vols, unfortunately, went down in softball tonight, or last night, or the night before. Can't honestly remember. But they did go down to the Texas Longhorns. However, as the title suggests, it's a soul for a soul. And it's the complete opposite of what I was expecting, to be honest. Of course, our softball team went down, but in their place, the baseball team has arisen to the competition, and they've ended up beating Wake Forest to end out the regionals. They're on to the super regionals in Fayetteville to face off against the Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the other sports and a whole lot more here tonight on the Vol-Star podcast. Before we get moving, just want to let you guys know, appreciate all the support you've given to this channel. We are not official, we're not affiliated with the University of Tennessee. However, we are just big-time Tennessee volunteer football fans, and whether or not you're a Tennessee fan or any other fan, we're glad to have you over here, so thank you for watching. And as always, we love your support. If you want to show some more support or just want to get some nice Squidtard drip, there is a merch store in the description, and you can check that out, see what you like, see what you don't like. Hopefully there isn't anything that you don't like in there. But if there is, it's your money at the end of the day. Glad that you all are all here, though. Thank you for your support. And, yeah. So let's go ahead and address the comments real fast. Super Nuclear is here. What's up, buddy? It was heartbreaking seeing Kentucky lose to West Virginia, but at least Vandy lost before us. That is true. Vanderbilt ended up taking a big fat stinky all over themselves. And, yeah, real disappointed there.
Yeah, very, very disappointed. What am I saying? It was absolutely hilarious watching Vanderbilt lose.
Well, it's odd because after they beat us in the after they beat us in that series, they were like, "Oh, there we go. Tennessee's far past their prime. They had their one good year. They're a flash in the bottle type of program, and now it's all gone. They lost it." Vanderbilt's already past them, and then what happens? They get into the big stuff, and they take a big sneak all over themselves. I thought you guys are far past us. Explain why we made it to the Super Regionals while you're now sitting on the couch. It doesn't add up. Really doesn't.
Yeah, I remember last week Jared said that Tennessee Vol fans and baseball shouldn't expect major success until they make it, consistent success, even though we've made Omaha 3 times out of the last 4 years and made supers over the five years in a row. Yet Vandy can't even get out of their own regional now. So I guess Vandy should just expect to get eliminated in the regional every single year. Jared, is that how it works, Jared?
Ouch. I don't know if I'd take that if I were you, Jared. Now, if you notice, my voice does sound a little off tonight on the show. Do know that I am fighting a little bit of a sickness going on. I've got a cold, nose is runny, the whole ordeal. So I'm going to be trying to fight through it tonight. Just so you know, I got back from Gulf Shores Sunday night, and ever since then, I've sort of had this really bad congested stuff. I've sort of lost my voice, which has made it pretty difficult to do my scripts. But hopefully I'll be able to fight through it. I'll be recovered soon. Because right after this show, I'm going to bed. I'm going to try and catch up on sleep as much as I could. I only got 4 hours of sleep every night while I was down there in Orange Beach. So hopefully, I'll be able to catch up on that. But yeah, I had a phenomenal time down there for anybody who was wondering. Did a lot of cool things. Ate some phenomenal food down there. I posted some updates on Twitter about that. All right, anyway. Enough of that. We got to introduce our special guest for tonight's show, as he is in the back room awaiting. Now, his internet, from what I hear, is going a little beep boop tonight, so hopefully it doesn't mess with the show. But let's go ahead and roll in, and I'll go ahead and introduce the guest. So, I doubt many of you know this legend here on YouTube, because back in the days of the and nobody's gonna know what this stands for except for me, the TTC. If you know what the TTC is, then congratulations, really pat yourself on the back, you're an old ass. But if you don't, it stands for the Trash Talking Circle. It was a big type of thing back in the days of 2009 YouTube here on the sports, dating all the way up to 2015. So before my time, basically. But he was in his prime back then, working with a lot of the Vol YouTubers that you know all too well. But of course, recently, he jumped off of YouTube to take care of some things. So, we're glad to have him on here tonight. I'm going to be introducing to the show for the very first time a longtime VFL and my good buddy, ACP Carter 45. How's it going, good sir?
It's going good, man. Congratulations on the success your channel has or is having. I've kept up with you. I've been watching you, and I'm really proud of you. I know that kind of sounds cheesy, but I don't know. I've kind of watched you grow up from a kid to, now you're kind of a early 20s man. So it's really cool to see. So congrats on that.
Appreciate it. I've definitely done a lot of growing here on the YouTubes, not just in terms of subscribers, but in my age in general, and the fact that I'm not a spoiled little dumbass. Well, I'm still a dumbass. I don't think I'm ever going to stop being a dumbass, but I'm less of one than I was before, and that's all that counts. But we're glad to have you on here for tonight, Carter. First question I have for you before anything else is, what you think about the baseball team and their
my internet is acting up a little bit tonight. I do apologize for that. So it's kind of chopping in and out a little bit, but I'm gonna keep going with it, and hopefully it won't, like you said, affect your show too much. Hopefully it won't.
Right. I did. I don't know if you heard, but I did ask the question before anything else. I want to know, what do you think about the baseball team tonight? Do you think they can make it? Do you think they can make it to the World Series? Uh-oh. Well, I think we lost him.
Yeah, this ain't good.
Well, where's he doing the show from?
I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese parking lot?
I
don't know. Someone give Carter a hotspot, please.
He got internet connection like Julio got a microphone. Yeah, we're real professionals over here, as you can tell. While we're waiting on him to get that fixed up. Let's see. On the bright side, my Mountaineers made a super regional. If you're talking about West Virginia, Goob, we have a rule about two-teamers here, buddy. We have a rule about two-teamers. That's not allowed unless you're unless it's a group of 5 or below. You can't be
I'm
a
still
fan.
here. I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Oh, yeah, now I can hear you. But as I was saying, Goob, you can't be a fan of 2 Power 5 teams, buddy. That's just not how it works. Carter, can you hear me now?
Oh, he left.
I guess not.
But yeah, you can only be a two-teamer if your favorite team's a Power 5, and then your other favorite team's a Group of 5, or vice versa. Goob says I can and will sue me.
Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. I'm ready for Tennessee to come Fayetteville for a super regional this weekend. I definitely am as well. Going to be a fun baseball weekend in Fayetteville when Tennessee and Arkansas clash. Winner goes to Omaha. Definitely true. And the way the Tennessee Arkansas games have been, it's not like I'm saying, oh, we're going to lose, it's over. But because we haven't beat them in a series yet, I'm hoping that we can get the jump on them this time.
Right. Hey, even if they beat us, they still ain't got one of these.
That's true. All right, here he's back. Carter, you good?
I apologize, guys. I've used StreamYard for years. I don't know why it's giving me such a fit tonight. I really don't. But
You're good.
I,
Apparently, your internet's dating all the way back to 2009 too.
exactly, yeah, that's about when all this started for me. It was actually I was a year late to the party. I was 2010, but yeah, pretty much the same time. So
Right. You at least knew everybody back in 2009 and then jumped in on the fun later on, kind of like how I did.
yeah, exactly. And it it was honestly, it would have been a lot more fun had we been better. Because that was some really rough years, man. I mean, the one year with Kiffin, which I mean was 7-6, and then, I was there for the entirety of the Dooley years, so it was pretty rough.
I can tell. Well, we'll pivot to football in a minute, since obviously as a Tennessee fan, history with that has been not so pleasant. So let's talk about the baseball team, shall we? Carter, what do you think about the baseball team's performance? Do you think they can jump and make it to Omaha? Going once, going twice. Is it the word baseball? Is that like like summoning the pee pee poo poo man? Like I say the word and then is it? Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Wait, is he there?
He was
I
there.
could have
He was
sworn.
there.
I thought ACP Carter. I thought he liked baseball because he's a Braves fan. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I guess I just can't say baseball anymore because the moment I say it, his internet just completely blows up.
I don't know. I mean, then again, the Braves kind of suck this year. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah, the Braves are absolute dog water.
Carter says
Usually,
he hears.
Usually
I
you're
can see
gonna.
that.
I can see y'all, but I can't hear anything. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what that's about, man. Dadgummit.
But yeah, I guess while everything clears up, can I share my thoughts on the baseball team?
Yeah. Speaking of which, while Carter gets his stuff fixed, Julio's here. What's going on, Julio?
Nothing much. What are y'all up to?
Trying to see if Carter can get his internet fixed at some point in due time. So we'll see how that pans out. Julio, I'll ask you. Actually, you go ahead, Lucas. You did want to do that.
All right. So, yeah, baseball team, of course, won the series or won the regional. Sorry, I'm wanting to sneeze, but I can't sneeze.
Bless you.
Oh, I can.
But yeah, we won the regional, of course. Wake Forest, of course, forced a game 7 where William Doyle just completely shut them down. Dude, William Doyle, he's so good. And if we beat Arkansas, he's going to be the reason we beat Arkansas. And I think last game, really showed what this team is capable of offensively. Andrew Fisher, Manny Marin had a pretty big home run, a big 3-run home run for us in the last game against Wake. Yeah, it just depends on how the offense is, with Andrew Fisher and if what version of Dean Curley we're going to get, because I feel like in the last few games, Dean Curley's actually been playing pretty solid. And if we get that version of Dean Curley, we definitely have a chance. But if we get the version of Dean Curley, how in that one game against Wake Forest where he just completely threw the ball away from one of the players, I don't even understand why he threw that. You got to learn to just put the ball in your pocket. You just can't throw, especially a wet ball like that, because the ball was soaking wet because it was raining, and you just threw it you're a Joe Milton pass.
Yeah, that could have been really bad, that error. Could have really screwed us over. So I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad he was able to get his hand on it.
but what I can't complain. We won the regional. We're headed on to the supers for the fifth year in a row, so I can't really complain. And of course, it's against Arkansas, a team that's owned us. I hate to say it, but it's true. They've owned us. But who knows? I mean, it's a tournament. Anything can happen. I mean, look at
Oh, what the hell? Am I? Good Lord, are you kidding me? Can anybody still hear me? What the hell? Okay. So we appeared to be having some serious technical difficulties. Give me a moment to fix that real fast if I can.
So wait,
Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure what just happened. All of my tabs immediately just crashed. Everything just crashed. All my tabs, everything I had loaded up just crashed. I don't know what happened. I legitimately don't. I don't know if it was an internet issue or something else, but I'm sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties here. I guess that's what I get for having terrifically bad Wi-Fi. Or I don't know. Maybe Carter's 2009 Wi-Fi spread to me. I ain't got a clue. I wish I knew. I don't know where Carter went either. Not JFKH. I appreciate the $2 super chat. He says, "Hello, how's it been?" Well, after that technical error, it's not been the most pleasant. First, I get sick, and now things are having technical difficulties. The more you know. Okay. Anyway, we'll go ahead and carry on per the normal. Lucas, you were in the middle of talking about the baseball team performance. You have anything else you wanted to say about that?
well, I guess I think I pretty much touched on all of it. So yeah, we won. Good job by the baseball team, and yeah, let's go beat Arkansas.
Tell it how it is. Julio, on to you, buddy. What did you think?
I mean, other than the second game, which I think he already touched on with the overthrow, I feel like we kind of played good, the entire, regional. And, um, I mean, other than that game, I don't really have much complaints. Well, I mean, we definitely look more like our, early season form than our, mid to late season form.
Tell it how
So
it is. Yeah.
I think that bodes. I think that bodes well for us. But another thing is Arkansas typically does not do good in. I mean, I know they make it to Omaha semi regularly, but they usually do not do too good in supers. So I feel kind of weird about this one. I feel I can go either way.
Right. I'll tell how it is, man. That's kind of pretty much how it went, the Wake Forest game. And I was really concerned when they went up 2-0. I was like, so is this team really just about to lay over and die like all the other SEC teams? Because right now, the SEC is just getting absolutely grilled by other conferences. Well, with the exception of Tank Conference, because Tank Conference has no sports, so they can't really say anything. But the Big 12 and the Big 10 are kind of, and pretty much all the others are kind of railing into the SEC, and for good reason, because boy, that was. Yeah, my sister told me goodnight again. She does that every night. Just slams on my door, tells me goodnight. But yeah, no, I mean, there is clearly an upgrade from the team that I saw in that last game that I've seen. We have the fire, we have the determination. I hope we go out there and prove it to the world.
Yeah,
To be honest, though, I feel like if we get past Arkansas, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like we're on the better side of the bracket. We're on the easier side.
Right.
Because if UTSA and Murray State and some other one of them get to Omaha, I think we have the easier side of the bracket. That's just my opinion, though.
Possibly, but yeah.
Now, like I said, we got to get past Arkansas, so.
Right.
But yeah, I will say though, if Arkansas wants to win a national championship, they've got to do it this year. They've got to do it this year.
Boy, that's real tough for them then, because they aren't the way things look. I don't know, man. I don't know. But they are blessed with the fact that they are not having to play a lot of the competition. I mean, they're having to play barely any competition from the SEC at this point. If they manage to get past Tennessee, because if they get past Tennessee, there's only like one or two teams left that they'll have to face, if they ever have to at all. I don't know what LSU or who else made it past the regionals.
LSU will take on West Virginia. Murray State will take on Duke, and then UTSA will take on UCLA. That's on our side of the bracket.
Yeah, but what's the other SEC team that made it? You know what? Let's just look at the bracket. Screw it.
I can remember it. Auburn, they're taking on Coastal Carolina.
That's
North
the one.
Carolina.
Yeah, it was Auburn and LSU. All right, there we go. Let me pull it up for you guys so that you can see it. Julio, you got it. We got to get you a new freaking microphone, buddy. What is wrong with your mic? Dadgummit.
I mean, do we really have to though, considering the show's
I
almost
don't
coming to
know.
an end?
I thought, didn't you have a pair of headphones that you used and keep forgetting to use?
Well, my sister took those, so and she's
All right,
not
Carter's
at
back.
the house right now. So
Carter with the 5-star internet is back. Are you there?
For now.
For now, he says.
For now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say the cursed word, and hopefully it doesn't immediately boot you out of here. But the baseball team, how'd you think they performed? Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, he muted up.
Going once.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I heard half of what you said, bro.
Okay.
Baseball.
How'd they perform?
Okay, so I'd give them like a B minus.
A B minus. That's reasonable. Like over the course of the season, or just the game last night?
I was thinking just over the weekend, I guess.
That's fair. The fact that they lost that first game the way they did definitely didn't help them, because that was a very winnable game on the first, and then we ended up blowing that. So it's very fortunate that we wound up coming
walk
out
in
hot.
that run, game-winning run. No, that was just.
Yeah, right. That was brutal. But then, the second game we get super hot, play really good defense, and then of course we had the grand slam that really spiced things up for our team. Looking at the rest of the teams in the bracket, there's a lot going on here. As you can tell, ha 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 ha, Vandy lost. So did Texas. those two teams blowing it right there really spice things up in the bracket at least. So I don't know. The things look a lot less predictable. I had a feeling Ole Miss was going to lose because they definitely got the rough end of the stick here with their bracket. Western Kentucky, Georgia Tech, Murray State. Tough way to go.
I thought Georgia Tech was going to win that regional, but I guess not. I should have looked into Murray State more because if you look into their record, they're like what 41-13.
Right.
So yeah, Murray State's a really good team.
I mean, there were still a lot of teams that won their regional there at the top seed, but like one sports school of course lost. Southern Miss they lost. Oregon they went down early. Yeah, no, but and just in general, a lot of the SEC teams were eliminated. So
I'll say this: I think Oregon should be banned from postseason play in baseball. They always choke. They cannot. They can like they almost always get eliminated in their own regional, and then if they make it to the supers, they somehow choke it every time.
you think it's a coaching issue?
Like they always get up.
just-
I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. I know sometimes they just have bad luck. Like what was it last year? They ran into the A&M team, and that's who they played in the supers. So I mean, that was just bad luck. But a lot of the times they just choke. It just seems like they just I don't know. They just don't seem fired up or something. I don't know.
Right. It's definitely an odd situation going on there for sure. Well, obviously, hoping the Vols make it past the Fayetteville Super Regional. That's going to be a tough draw for them, I think. Not much you can do about it, though, if we ended up blowing that one. This episode has been a damn train wreck. Hey, man, yeah, you're not wrong, but I'm trying my hardest,
Yeah,
bro.
sorry about that.
It's not your fault. It's everybody's fault. My internet's been beep booping the same way.
Would you say that
Huh? Oh,
I think he got cut off by his internet
Yeah.
again.
would you say that's something?
well, I was trying to say, would you say that the fact
Was
that
he
we
asked?
made it to the supers is that a like surprise, or were you not surprised that we made it to where we're at right now?
I'm not surprised. I always thought that Tennessee would be able to make it past the regionals. That was my prediction going into this thing. I just got I will say I'm more of the belief that Arkansas is winning this series because I still think we can absolutely hang with them, but they are a very, very good team. So good that they booted Carter out of the stream again. Yeah, this is
But
a
yeah.
whole big doo-doo show going on here.
Thing is, on paper, we're pretty similar. Like we have about the same ERA. They score a little bit more runs than us per game, but we hit more home runs. So I mean, I think like I said, it kind of just depends on I guess who's hot. Who's got better pitching, who decides to show up.
Yeah, we saw this last year with the
Maybe
Mason
this is
baseball
Arkansas's
team.
year.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not. It's
Yeah,
Arkansas.
I mean this could easily be similar to the Evansville thing last year, like the.
Right. We saw this again. We saw this last year with the baseball team. Julio got to mute up. Boy, what a mess. I think we all need to just invest in brand new technology, because clearly something's wrong here. The entire show has gone derailed because of that, but not much you can do about it. We'll just continue moving on. But I will say, from my expertise, we saw this last season with Tennessee. They got hot at the right time, stuck with it for the entire rest of the season, the entire rest of the postseason, going to the World Series, and then we ended up beating A&M to win the Natty. So I'm not picking Tennessee to make the Natty or even win it if they do get hot. But if they do, I definitely think we've got what it takes to move past Arkansas, get to the World Series, and then make a little bit of noise there. So we'll see. We'll definitely see a whole lot of that. All right, well, here's the other side of the coin, unfortunately the bad side. And we kind of had a feeling this was coming, considering just how absolutely loaded the softball SEC is as compared to the baseball. But yes, of course, this past week, Tennessee finally met their end in softball, and it was a good run, a really, really good run. We ended up having a couple of really good games, beat a couple of pretty good teams. We lost the first one against Oklahoma on a walk-off home run, but after that we ended up beating Florida, beating UCLA. It was two really, really good games, by the way. But, of course, it all came crashing down once we went up against the Texas Longhorns, which, again, really, really good softball team. Just couldn't get it together, wound up not scoring a single run, and Texas finished this off, and they'll be moving on to the national championship. Our end runs in the Final Four, so, you know, not at the end of the day, not much you can do about it other than just accept it for what it is. Hopefully we can get better next year. We got Carlin Pickens returning, or at least I would think so. We're going to have a loaded squad next year. And because we lost a baseball game in the postseason, I've already seen the Tennessee fans, some of which somehow aren't being unironic about it, literally go, we're back with the fire. We got to fire. We got to fire. We fire everybody. Fire the players, fire the coaching staff. In fact, just fire the program entirely.
What's crazy, that's
dumb.
like his first loss in a regional since, his first year here? I think, if I remember correctly.
Talking about Karen Weekly?
No. Oh, no, I was talking about Vitello. I thought you were talking about baseball.
No. No, I mean, I have seen it about Vitello, but I've seen it a whole lot more with Karen Weekly. Because,
yeah, I mean, the Karen Weekly
national
thing.
Title
She's
team.
been
This is national title talent. This is national title talent. You blew it. You blew the national title talent. We got to fire her. We got to fire her. With Squidtard, we got to fire her. It's so dumb. So dumb. Anyway, you carry on.
All I was going to say is that, I mean, and that's kind of always been the thing with the softball team. We just kind of always seem to run into the hotter team. Like, we just can't catch a break usually. Like, we'll always get to the semifinals or finals usually if we make it there. And then we just kind of lose because we just face the hotter team. You know, it's fact of life sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a really good season for the softball team. I wish we would have, it would have been nice to win a national title in softball, but I'm just honestly shocked and happy that Oklahoma won't be winning it this year.
That is true. And the softball bracket is pretty
well,
intriguing
it won't be
when you stare
much
at
if
that
Texas
as well.
wins it. I hope Texas Tech wins it.
Yeah, I'm hoping Texas Tech does. Honestly, their fans deserve it. I mean, literally, Texas Tech can't win anything. So
yeah, what a national championship this is right here. Two bitter rivals, and freaking Julio is making a freaking grilled cheese sandwich while I'm in the middle of talking. Oh dear Lord, man. Anyway,
sorry.
This is great. This is great. I love this so much, dude.
How can it get even more of a train wreck than this? Should we just bring TriStar on while we're at it? Anyway, the bracket looks really interesting here, as you can tell. Whole lot of SEC. I mean, there was a whole lot of SEC here. But of course, not everybody could make it to the World Series. There's still a lot of SEC teams, and only one is left standing from our conference. But this is what's funny about the Texas, man, is that now, after saying how glad they are to be in this conference rather than the Big 12, now they're trying to claim that the SEC is terrible, and it ain't no good. The SEC is just a terrible conference in every sport. You know, in the SEC. So what are you trying to say, that the Big 12 is better than the SEC? Hey, there ain't a soul on planet Earth that believes that. But anyway, maybe one will if Texas Tech winds up winning this game. Whole lot of mumble jumble from my end. What do y'all think about this?
I don't know. I'm rooting for Texas Tech to win it all. I mean, I just don't want Texas fans to experience happiness.
Dang, brutal.
Same thing.
Ouch. Okay, well then, let me rephrase this question then. because Tennessee dare lose a game ever in the history of history, you think it's time to, with Karen Week, we got to fire. Do we need to fire?
No, I mean, this is her second time making the Women's College World Series in 3 years, and she's made the Super Regionals like last year. We should have made the College World Series last year, but we didn't. We lost to Alabama of all teams. But yeah, I mean, I still think the ceiling is high for this program. I think Karen Weekly, she could win a national championship with this team. I think at least I think she can. She keeps recruiting pretty well, and we keep getting pretty far in the tournament. So I think we in the future we could win a national title with Karen Weekly.
Sounds like you know what it sounds like? It sounds a whole lot like a Rick Barnes type of situation. Rick Barnes is a guy that can get us through the regular season, get us pretty far in the tournament, but whenever we get to the end of the line, he winds up collapsing or losing a game. Same thing happened with Karen Weekly, and same thing here, but it's less. But I mean, people are still screaming about Rick Barnes. Fire her! We got to fire her! So this is no surprise. You lose one game, and now it's time to scream fire! And then what's so funny about that is that these same people, on Twitter, a lot of them are just saying that because they're mad, they're angry, that something's got to change. They're super angry, and then they sober up the next day, and they're like, why did I even say that? So this isn't really referencing those people. This is more in reference to the people who genuinely believe Karen Weekly or Rick Barnes need to be fired. The moment you ask them, okay, say we fire him, who's next? Who are we bringing in? Who are we bringing here?
Bruce Pearl.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, and then they bring out the stupidest, most unimaginable names out there. Let's just get the best coach in the history of history. How are we gonna get him? Because we have the most money in the history of history. Okay, explain how we have the most money in the history of history. We just do. We just do. Yes, Tennessee is a historically great program athletic-wise, but we're not like, it's not like we're like making the same amount of money the White House is off of taxes. I mean, we're a university. Several other SEC teams are making just as much as we are, and the ones with the best coaches out there are likely going to try and keep those coaches. You aren't just going to be able to go out there and buy whoever you want. And these people don't understand that. They think that Tennessee is like this top premier, super duper omega program in all the sports imaginable. And while they are a good program, we aren't at the top. Not yet. So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, speaking of money, I remember I saw the Tennessee Nike thing. I was just wanting to say this really quick. I saw like somebody, a Vol fan on Twitter, saying apparently Kentucky is getting more money from Nike than Tennessee is, and then all these Kentucky fans started gumming in the comments of his tweet and saying, "Of course we are. We're a bigger brand than Tennessee." What?
In what?
Like you're in what exactly? Listen.
Well, you didn't fall for the rage bait, did you?
No, I didn't. But it's ridiculous. Like here, let me sum it down for you, Kentucky fans, so you can understand. Football, you're not a bigger brand than Tennessee. You're not.
Look, man, you're falling for the rage bait, brother. You're falling right for it. This is what they want. This is what they want, man. They don't believe that. Nobody does.
Listen, I'll give Kentucky basketball because they're a blue blood. They're a bigger brand than us in basketball. I'll give them that. But football, women's basketball, baseball, and softball, Tennessee's a bigger brand than Kentucky in all of those sports.
This would be made a whole lot easier than if you knew what they were referencing. Because, yes, the Kentucky is definitely a bigger brand in basketball, not even close. But, yeah, all the other sports, yeah, you hit it on the nail there. That's not even dogging you, Super Nuclear. I hope you know that. You got to understand that. Hopefully you do. Okay, then. Here's some of the comments real quick. Squidtard, will you make a video about Michigan after the NCAA punishes them on June the 6th? Why are they punishing Michigan on June the 6th exactly? That kind of sounds like Florida State's going to move out of the ACC on June the 13th. No, they aren't. They ain't ever moving out of the ACC. So I'd love to get a source on where you got that from. Would be funny if it happened, though. I'm definitely not saying that it wouldn't be funny. The SEC needs to move to a nine conference game slate. I mean, I want to be against it.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly agree.
I mean, it would be good for the sport, I think, because all these other conferences are playing 9 games, and that way everybody can boo, can stop the boo. Oh, wait, the SEC schedules are so freaking easy. And then when we play 9 games and still have another SEC team win the national title, it's gonna be something else. It's always gonna be something else. And to me, honestly, I think it would be funny just to keep it at 8 games so they can keep crying about the same thing, because all it's gonna do. Literally, all these anti-SEC people, the moment you pander to one of them and actually make change with the SEC scheduling, they're just going to pivot to something else. They always do. Oh, yeah? Well, the SEC's still the easiest conference, and they need to do this and this and this and this. They need to stop scheduling FCS teams. The moment they do that, they'll find something else. The SEC needs to start naming so many SEC teams. It's going to be that, and it's just going to be going on and on and on. Yeah. My favorite is here about the Florida State fans are still doing this thing, by the way, crying about the 2023 snub. They're still going at it today with the whole SEC ESPN thing. Like, ESPN is fully in charge of who's let into the college football playoffs, even though they are two completely separate, different entities. Let me ask you something. Why would the athletic director for NC State, an ACC program, by the way, why would the athletic director for them be in cahoots with the SEC for letting SEC teams in? How does that make sense? The answer is it doesn't. Also, if the SEC is in cahoots with the College Football Playoff Committee and ESPN, then explain to me why all of the nine-win SEC teams are left out for SMU and Indiana. Can you make sense of that? No, of course you can't. Of course you can't. You're crying because you're mad that your shit-tier Florida State team wound up going 2-10 the following year. I'd be mad about that too. Thing is, though, I want to be crying about the SEC bias. Kirk Herbstreit and the SEC bias. Kirk Herbstreit. This is the funniest one, and I put this one in my latest video that I made last week. Kirk Herbstreit is the one that let Alabama in because he's in cahoots with Ohio State and the rest of the SEC. Say that again? Say that again. Ohio State and the rest of the SEC. Since when has Ohio State been a part of the SEC? I guess they joined last week and I didn't know. Welcome to the conference, Ohio State. Looking forward to playing y'all. You can only win like one SEC game every 500 years. You beat Tennessee on the road. Whip-a-doo! Can't win against anybody else in the conference. So I'd love to have y'all over here. Yeah, no. Foolishness. Lots and lots of foolishness.
Yeah.
FSU fans probably think Kirk went to an SEC school. Yeah. Which, according to them, Ohio State, welcome to the SEC. Yeah, they beat Texas. Kind of forgot that. Everybody else did, too. I love for the SEC to do 9-conference game, but it just doesn't make sense right now. Well, it's the same thing about Notre Dame joining a conference, you know. Why would Notre Dame join a conference right now? Excuse me. Why would they join a conference right now when they can just as easily stay out of a conference and then every time they win a playoff game, keep all the money for themselves? The only thing joining a conference does for them is take their money and give it to everybody in the conference. So I can't blame Notre Dame for wanting to stay out of it.
Well, that they also make it to where you don't have to schedule like half your games, except for like a couple.
Right, which the scheduling situation, I mean, how much more does it benefit them? Notre Dame, they already play a super easy schedule. They pick and choose a lot of the lower tier conferences out of the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. They just pick and choose which Power 4 conferences or Power 4 teams they take out of there. But to their credit, they do play a lot of the really good teams. And when they're actually really good, they get to keep all the money they make for themselves. So, yeah, I cannot blame them for not wanting to join any conference, especially the ACC, considering how much of a crap show that is right now. They're going to have 18 teams in there. So, basically, you know, every time Notre Dame, from now on, if they were to join the ACC, however much money they'd make from winning a playoff game, they'd only earn an 18th of that. The rest of it would go to all the other conference teams for doing basically jack shit. So, no, I can't blame Notre Dame for sticking out of it and just not wanting to be a part of it.
Right. But, yeah, back to the schedule thing. I think the SEC should go to 9 games. I mean, what the SEC should do is go to 9 games and then have 3 permanent opponents for each team, and then the rest be like the other team. So like you could still play, of course, your main rivals like every year, and then you could still play like every other SEC team once every 2 years.
And
so
one more thing about Notre Dame though, I did want to mention this is that there was one problem with what they're doing, joining the not being in a conference that affected them. But now that's no longer a problem with the new college football playoff changes and the straight seeding. Now they don't have to worry about not getting that bye because now they can end up winning all their games or at least losing only one of them. If they're one of the top 4 teams at the end of the year, they'll get a first round bye, so that will no longer be a problem for them. That was the only problem with how they had their stuff planned out. And now, again, no longer a problem. They'll get that first round bye, and whatever else happens. Let's see. When is prediction season going to start for Squid? I wonder if he's going to make predictions for Tennessee. I will start doing predictions in July or August. What do you think? When do you think the realignment for West Coast teams to the Big Ten will backfire? Any point in due time. At any point in due time. And I don't think it's going to have anything to do with who they're scheduling. I think it's just going to have to do with the travel. They're having to travel so far away in most of their games, it's going to take a toll on them. It really is, and I think they're going to find themselves out of their league pretty quick. USC maybe not because they're recruiting extremely well. They have the top recruiting class in the country right now. So if somehow all of those guys stick and they have good coaching to go along with it, then yeah, USC can end up rising with the big boys, and then maybe my point becomes moot. But we'll see. I mean, Oregon wound up winning the Big Ten in their first year, so who knows? So right now it doesn't really even look like it's backfiring. It's screwing over other Big Ten teams rather than screwing over them.
Yeah, I just wish they would just go back to the Pac-12, but Pac-12 now is pretty much a glorified Group of 5 conference. Well, at least it's becoming a group.
It's literally is a Group of 5 conference. 75% of their teams are Group of 5 teams.
Yeah, poor Oregon State and Washington State. They used to be Power 5, and now they're going to be considered a Group of 5 teams.
Yeah, and here's the problem with that is that the playoffs now with straight seeding, I think because they're still going to have a Group of 5 champion in. They're just going to do the seeding completely different based on straight seeding. So you're still going to have a Group of 5 champion that gets into the playoffs, but with how difficult it is now with the 12-team playoff, we saw it with Boise State. They weren't even able to win a playoff game. They win all their games in the regular season, go into the playoffs, and while they wound up putting up a good performance against Penn State, they still wound up getting whooped by the end of it. So I think the Group of 5 is just slowly, inevitably finding themselves outmatched. And I've heard this narrative go around that the Group of 5 needs to just split from the NCAA or make their own playoff for the Group of 5, and I would be in full support of that. I think it would be a whole lot more interesting for us casual college football fans, hardcore college football fans, and it would be better off for pretty much everybody because a lot of these Group of 5 teams would be way more invested in the game of football because they know that if you have even just 2 losses, like you're not making a national championship, you're not even making the playoffs or anywhere close. Hell, I mean, you could be the 3rd best Group of 5 team and still find yourselves out there playing at the very beginning of bowl season against like a 6-win Big 12 team. So really, I can't blame them for wanting to, get with that idea. We'll see how it goes, though.
I don't know.
Is Tennessee going to be the new 8-4 university? No.
What?
No. 8-4 team this year, probably. I would say so right now, but 8-4 university, no. Come on now. We don't go 8-4 every single year.
I think Tennessee is going to go 9-3. Honest, that's just my opinion, though.
Hopefully next week episode goes better, and hopefully no 2009 Wi-Fi ruins everything. Yeah, cross your fingers for that one. Yeah, that spot is A&M's until I see otherwise. Goop hit it right on the money.
Yeah.
Let's see. G5 NIT style playoffs would be cool. Yeah, I agree with that. I would love that. I think that would be the better solution because you're seeing it. All these group of five. Like, look at Marshall. Marshall is like a completely different team now. Not even just like they are a completely different team. They lost everybody through the transfer portal and everywhere else. I have no idea what they're going to do this year. They might be as good. They might be way worse. They might be a 0-win team by the end of all of it said and done. Nobody really knows. But they lost their entire team to the portal. And that's what a lot of these group of five teams are being affected by. The FCS isn't necessarily having this problem because the FCS has their own playoff system with 24 so teams. And while I wouldn't say 24 teams would be the best solution for the group of five, a playoff system for them might fix it. We'll see.
Maybe.
Depends on if let's see. Do you think the SEC will expand soon again? Doubt it. It's possible if the ACC fully implodes, but I doubt it. Who knows?
Wait, gotta wait until 2036. Or when is it? Florida State, Clemson, and Miami's like contract becomes like actually affordable to buy out. Is it like 2030?
Something like that. Yeah, way so far ahead in the future that it may not even count once we actually get there.
But yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. It's only going to be a matter of time until they do get out of the ACC.
Probably. Hot take: I think we beat Georgia but lose to Mississippi State or Oklahoma and still go 9-3. That would be the most boneheaded thing I've heard. But for me, it's just Georgia has just fully figured out Heupel's offense. Until we come out with a new game plan to finally finish them off, I doubt it's not more of the same next year.
Can we hire Joe Brady?
I wouldn't mind that. 2031 is when all the TV contracts expire across the sport. So, yeah, that's probably when we'll see some big changes in the ACC. And to me, if they do wind up doing it, there's going to have to be some huge changes with how the SEC is scheduled. There's going to have to be changes around who we play every single year. And there might have to be they might have to do like a conference tournament type of thing. Because at this point, you have so many teams as it is. There's 16 in the SEC, 17 in the ACC, 18 in the freaking Big Ten. And you've got teams like, you've got teams in the Big Ten that are either getting the hardest schedules in the universe or they're literally playing just a big pile of fodder every single year. So it's a very, very tough decision. So they're going to have to do some time to figure it out, I bet. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and call it wraps on tonight's show. No, it was a short one tonight, but I did want to get on here and talk about the baseball game, talk about what I saw from the softball games. Hopefully, the baseball team winds up moving forward and continuing forward. I know I am pretty sick, you guys. So there you go. I can't stay out here for too long. So Lucas, Julio, what did you guys want to say before we call it wraps?
I guess just go Vols, tighten up. Hopefully the Vols get the win this weekend against Arkansas. And also go Pacers. I hope they win the NBA Finals against the Thunder.
There you go. Julio?
Same thing as him. Go Vols. Hopefully the Pacers win, like you just said. We're practically exact same thing. Except for tighten up. Go Cowboys.
Right.
Cowboys stink.
Dang, I won't take that. One last announcement. Of course, I said this last week, and I'll say it on here again. Of course, I did make a big announcement last week about the Vol-Star podcast and its future. Julio, mute up, please.
All right.
Gotta get a new pair of headphones, man. But for those of you who don't know, episode 100 of the Vol-Star podcast, it's going to be our longest episode to date. I've got a lot of things planned for it, including a giveaway, and you'll see a lot more coming on that in the near future. So all I'm going to say is it's also going to be the last episode of the Vol-Star podcast, and I'm going to be moving on from it and pursuing a different show going into my Monday night slate. I said it on here, and I'll say it again. I appreciate all of you loyal followers for being a part of the podcast, and of course, I appreciate my two very, very helpful co-hosts for being a part of this show for as long as they have been. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And him too. Great people. All right, well, guys, again, I'll leave you with more information in the future for those of you who don't know about it. And that's all I really have to say. Love each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys in the near future. And as always, power to Tardaria, and of course, go Vols, and let's beat the hell out of some piggies.